In Tales of the Dark Multiverse Issue number 1, Batman Knightfall, you're gonna learn there's only one true Batman. And as you're about to find out, that's not you. Because I'm the goddamn Batman.
What's going on? Welcome to Good Geek Show, the video series of We Talk Comics and Tales from the Dark Multiverse number 1, Batman Knightfall. Written by Scott Snyder and Kyle Higgins, with art by Javier Fernandez, colors by Alex Guimarães, and letters by Clayton Cowles. And this issue begins with a narration by Tempest Fuganot about the Dark Multiverse, relaying the origin of the Batman who laughs and revealing he is in search of the new heroes who may be born in the fires of our fears. We then get to see events from Batman Knightfall, which transition into the idea of what if Batman lost to John Paul Valley, who continued being Batman. 30 years then pass, and John Paul is at the old Wayne Manor, now the Dumas home, where he dons his bat suit as his wife tells him things going on in Gotham. This includes the Penguin moving a man named Luis Ramos into the city under the radar, a disease known as the Woodrube pandemic, and the after effects of the parasite cataclysm from Metropolis 2 years prior. John Paul gives instructions, and before he leaves, he shoots himself up with venom and heads out to keep a tradition, much to his wife's dismay. Jean-Paul, now at Wayne Tower, reveals a Bruce Wayne that's nothing more than a head and body and has seizures that are painful but not fatal. Jean-Paul says he'll end Bruce's suffering as long as he admits that Jean-Paul is the better Batman, which Bruce refuses to do. We then move over to see the Penguin, Luis Ramos, the Cardinal, and Torchbearer, who judges the two for their crimes and kills them. It is then that 5 simultaneous explosions then happen, revealing the Acolyte Halls are the targets and that an uprising has begun. We cut to a new figure who sneaks into Wayne Tower, passing security and getting to Bruce Wayne. He reveals his name to be Torn, and he's going to save Gotham. Bruce asks what makes him think he's up to the task, and Torn's body mass increases, punching an oncoming guard, revealing he is the son of Bane. Torn then cuts Bruce down, and we briefly cut to the cathedral formerly known as City Hall, as Saint Batman, Torchbearer, and the Cardinal are taking out the rioters, while Saint Batman is hearing the voice of Saint Dumas telling him he's failing and will lose, at which time Jean-Paul is informed that a section of the city is falling underwater. In the sewers, Torn tells Bruce the story of how Saint Batman killed Bane, at which point Shiva enters, informing Bruce they have a plan and wanting to re-establish Bruce as the true Batman, in which she reveals a device which will give him a new body so he can fight. Meanwhile, on the eastern coast, Saint Batman manages to replace the pillar, keeping the section of the city from going underwater, all the while continuing to hear and see Saint Dumas, who continues to berate John Paul. John Paul then continues out from the water, feeling weakened, as Torchbearer and Cathedral report. John Paul tells them they will win the fight and he just needs a boost. Torchbearer and Cardinal take John Paul back to the Dumas house, where they discover Shiva and Torn, finding out that John Paul's wife let them in because she no longer believes in the cause, as well as noting her husband's addiction to venom. John Paul has her killed, and then also finds Bruce is back in a new Batman attire, which starts the battle. During the fight, Batman kills Cardinal, though says it's not really killing because the nanobats absorb the victim's DNA, so they live on in a way. John Paul tears off one of Torn's arms and drinks his blood for the venom, and Batman tackles him, but John Paul gets Batman in a headlock, but Batman's new suit shocks John Paul before Torn breaks John Paul's back. There's a moment of relief in their victory before Batman kills Shiva and Torn, revealing that 30 years of torture has broken his mind, and as he claims, Gotham is mine and I am hers. The issue begins to wrap up with a final narration by Tempest, who says perhaps the Dark Multiverse isn't the best place to find heroes for the coming crisis, as we see the final image depicts Batman hanging the body of Jean Paul on a bat emblem. And if there was a way for me to be able to describe this book that isn't just the tired old awesome, epic, killer, amazing, super, prime, ultra, well then I don't really have anything for you, because I don't know how else to describe this book other than every positive word in the dictionary pertaining to awesomeness, awesome sauce, epicness, epic sauce. No, just make up a word in the comment section, I guess, because I absolutely loved this book. Taking a look at a story that is so old, like Batman Knightfall, and then giving you the Dark Multiverse version of what happened. I also really like the idea of Bane's son having been affected by Bane's continuous and constant use of venom, so much to the point that his son produces the venom naturally, as stated in the book, so he can just make himself huge anytime he needs it. I also like how Torn even viewed his father as someone who could have been a hero if the circumstances were right, and that even though Bane was a villain, his son still looked up to him in a way, because we do see in the book that Bane did attempt to stop Jean-Paul, aka Saint Batman, but died doing it, which Torn saw, which is what gave birth to his vengeance. Then you've got Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, who pretty much looked like the reboot version of RoboCop after the explosion but before all the cybernetic enhancements, and how 30 years of just getting limbs removed every year, having the constant seizures really broke his mind, so that when he came back into power and was able to be Batman again, he decided that he's just going to rule over Gotham as Jean-Paul had been doing, but he's gonna do it more effectively, as he claims, and looks like he's going to basically be the ruler of all Gotham in a tyrant-like fashion. I think it's also really cool to see Tempest in this book, because right now he's also in Flash Forward, which is really starting to set up this whole idea of this big crisis that's gonna be coming, the biggest crisis ever, and that he needs to find warriors wherever he can, even resorting to looking through the dark multiverse, which he's probably not going to find very many. And in closing thoughts, if you're ever going to look through the dark multiverse for heroes to fight in your upcoming crisis, don't ever make Batman a choice. Ever. And with that, I'm going to say that Tales from the Dark Multiverse, issue number 1, Batman Knightfall, gets the epic gold medal. So Tales from the Dark Multiverse, issue number 1, Batman Knightfall, what did you think about this book? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you like this video, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button, share it with some friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and ring that notification bell for more comic book content. And if you're wondering what to watch next, consider one of the 2 videos down below. Alright, take care, have a great day, and as always, stay geeky.